transfer to Proverbs again. Okay, so don't read Proverbs right now, but pay attention to chapter 8 of Ecclesiastes, verse 6 and verse 7 tells. Because, what are we talking about because we're relating with verse 5. Okay? We have a person who's wise, who has settled the king's heart. We have a person who is wise, who understands time period and judgment. Because, what? To every purpose, we have a time period, we have a judgment, we have a method. Therefore, misery on man is great on him. For the reason he knows not which will happen. Who knows when it will happen? We don't know the future, right? Proverbs chapter 20, verse 2. Please open to Proverbs chapter 20. Proverbs 20. Guys, put those pens back. Put the pens back. Put the pens back. Up to the ocean. Thank you. Now sit down. Not lay down. Come on, sit down. 11 if you keep talking. Okay, so chapter 20, verse 2. The fear related with the king is the same as a lion. He roars, he yells. And who provoketh him, the king, to anger, sins his own soul.
No.
Some of you like the game of chess. I'm sure you've seen the black king and the white king and the white queen and the white king and the different parts of the game. Okay? Now, God's word tells that the king who becomes angry is same as like a lion. He's very dangerous. And if we study about the story about Esther we talked about, we can remember what happened. She was put to become queen over that country that was not Israel. It was an evil country. If you remember the Jewish culture, they were forbidden to drink the wine and become drunk, right? But in Babylon, it tells that she, the queen, served the king the wine, and he became drunk. And he also made decisions when sometimes he was drunk. Okay, so their culture was opposite of God's culture. In their culture, they worshiped idols, and you see that in Daniel because they had the different trumpets and the harps and various things, and they told to bow and worship the idols. And the three boys would not bow, right? This is the same culture that Esther is growing up in. The king worships not God there, but worships idol things. And the queen herself is silent. She's not interrupting the king because God has put her there for a time period, for a method, for a purpose now, to deliver her own people of Israel, to deliver the future of the prophesied Messiah. She's exalted to become the queen, the second person nearest to the king. And there's one other person who is an enemy. His name is Haman. And Haman, the angry man, approaches the king whose name was Headache. His name was Ahasuerus. Okay. That man himself, King Headache, is asked from Haman, "Can I kill all the Jewish people?" And the king goes ahead, approves it, signs it, and the letter is spread through all the countries. Not one country, but all 200 countries controlled from the king there. Then there is grief in all of the countries because the Jewish people understand we will die very soon in the month of Adar. The queen and her servants, they go ahead and pray and fast, and the Lord delivers them. Do you remember what happened with the king's servant, Haman? Do you remember what happened? Remember the consequence? Okay, so he covered up. He didn't explain fully that the queen herself was a Jewish person, right? Okay. He was hung in the end. Which kind of machine was used to hang him? Yeah, it was a gallows, right. Okay, so he designed a 70 feet, very tall one, in his own home, okay? Not a tree, no. It says he built it. 70 feet. Okay, so read the book of Esther, okay? Read it. He designed it and he had it built. Now, the king hears the noise outside, someone banging and building there. And he looks out and he sees, curious, what's happening there. The plan, Haman, the angry man, plans to kill Esther's cousin, whose name is Mordecai. But now, the king, he leaves the room, and Haman does what? You know? Yeah, he begs for mercy from the queen, and so the queen is laying there on the couch, and Haman really gets onto her, and he touches the queen. And so the king enters the room, and he thinks the man is raping his wife. And so he tells the soldier to get Haman, the blow-up man, and to hang him right over there, his own home, his own gallows. Now, the Hebrew language has an interesting concept in that. It tells that God changed the table. And it was turned around. Before, the king, who was black, thought, I have beaten the white king. I finished. Check. Wrong, because God turned around the table and now he was beaten himself. And that picture here helps us to understand that God is in control with the evil king. You don't like being loyal with him, right? You don't like the idea of submitting to the king who is evil, right? You don't like the idea about going ahead and accepting whatever God's design is now. But God will, in the end, himself control the time period and the judgment. Because no person knows the future. Not one person in the room now today can tell me what's happening tomorrow. Because we don't know the future. Now let's close. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 8. Ecclesiastes chapter 8.